Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. The Appleton Police Department today releasing documents from their investigation of St. Francis Xavier Principal Mike Mauthe after he was fired back in November.
The information, which was obtained by an Action 2 News through an open records request, shows concerns about inappropriate conversations with students. It also explains why police did not pursue criminal charges. New at 4, Jason Zimmerman has been following the story since the beginning. He's live in the Fox Valley newsroom. Jason.
Cammy, according to the police investigation, which was closed several weeks ago, the Catholic Diocese of Green Bay was unaware of Mauthe's alleged behavior until he announced his resignation from Xavier and accepted a job at St. Mary Catholic High School. That led to someone coming forward to lodge a complaint concerning Mauthe and the relationship he had with a female student. In a 54-page report released by Appleton Police, where several names have been redacted, it shows more than 200 emails were found from Mike Mauthe to a female student, appearing to show an inappropriate relationship. One of them says, quote, "So you know I hate sharing you, and you obviously know what buttons to press to make me chase you harder. Does it bother you if I'm talking to other people? Do you feel any sense of jealousy, reluctance to share, or is that just a me problem?" End quote. The girl's mother also knew about the relationship and told the superintendent of the Green Bay Catholic Diocese, Becky Walker, that she told Mauthe to stop texting her daughter. Mauthe said he would. However, she found out later the two of them were trying to figure out how they were going to communicate once she graduated. Appleton Police started an investigation last November after Walker was concerned the principal's conduct may be criminal. Investigators were able to contact the now former student in December. According to the police record, she claimed the relationship with Mauthe was unhealthy for me and manipulative and hurt the way I see things. I don't think it was good. The report also indicates Mauthe had a similar relationship with a friend of the girl who told investigators her friend was often abandoned and her home life was questionable. She said Mauthe helped her friend get into college and helped with loans. A spokesperson from the Diocese of Green Bay declined to comment on the police investigation. Attempts to reach Mauthe himself have been unsuccessful. Appleton Police Chief Polly Olson did release a statement. I'll share what she had to say tonight at 5 o'clock. Reporting live in the Fox Valley News from Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.